A couple of things. I noticed people getting on Jerome Baker, who I think is a very good player. That could very well work out for both teams, that trade with Jones and Baker. Because you can believe Baker is a very good coverage linebacker, whereas your boy Ernest Jones ain't that. That's not going to be his deal right there. I see that they actually put Ernest Jones at the Mike backer and moved Tyrel Dodson off to the will. So who is that an indictment of there? Right? They moved Tyrel Dodson out of his spot as well. So you got to keep that in mind. Yo, Top Billin, big salutes to the commenter who hooked your boy up with this news here. I'm doing some other things kind of out the loop right now, and I'm glad to be updated. So big salutes to you. Seahawks wave leading tackler Tyrel Dodson in inside linebacker shakeup. Yes, this is very explosive and something that I absolutely love to see out of a first-year head coach, first-year regime pretty much outside, of course, the veteran general manager. Now, listen, color me surprised, but also color me not shocked. You know why? You can hear it at the beginning of this video from the clip that I took from that October 30th video when I was talking about the Seahawks defensive personnel. I remarked that going through the film, I noticed that it was Ernest Jones, who was just recently traded for, who was playing the Mike backer with your man Tyrel Dodson, moved from his post that he had been the entire time that he came over from the offseason of Mike backer, being moved to the will. I asked, right, for people who were getting on Jerome Baker, who was that actually an indictment of? Obviously, if Jerome Baker's traded, it's definitely an indictment of him in some shape, form, or fashion. But they moved Tyrel Dodson off his post and got a guy who they felt would be a better Mike backer, a better leader, inside-out leader for that defense. And obviously, they were right. Ernest Jones looks way better than Tyrel Dodson had in the first however many games he was the Mike backer. Ernest Jones is just the truth, right? He's just a better talent than Tyrel Dodson. In a better, it's hard to really compare him to Jerome Baker because they don't play the same position. You wouldn't put Jerome Baker at a Mike backer. So Tyrel Dodson is one of these guys who's kind of a tweener, right? He played a little bit of weak side linebacker or weak side inside linebacker for the Buffalo Bills, but I wouldn't necessarily consider that his MO, right? That's probably what he's, I don't know, maybe he would consider himself a weak side inside linebacker over a Mike backer, but I don't know. I know Ernest Jones fits that, no doubt about that. He can play in traffic. He's been doing some wonderful things there. But this man being cut in the middle of the season, you talk about, right, shape up or get shipped out. I told people who are down on Mike Macdonald, right, people who are absolutely wackadoos, right, out of the loony bin, who will be down on a first-year head coach who does not even have his players. You got to give these guys at least a draft, free agency, another draft, and another free agency to try to get the type of players that they want for their scheme. It's clear that they made a mistake on Baker and Dodson as those guys, right, for a very important position for a Mike Macdonald scheme, right, a position that I believe, right, he coached at one particular point in time. I believe that's his background is coaching linebackers, so he knows what he wants in those linebackers. And he had some really good ones, obviously, in Baltimore. And when Roquan Smith came on, that defense took shape. Same deal I imagine is going to happen with Seattle and Ernest Jones here. But, yeah, this is news to me, so I haven't even read any of this. First-year head coach Mike Macdonald said last week that everything will be on the table as the team self-scouted over the bye. I love a man who puts it out there, right? No diddy, and then really comes with it, right? There's no better indication of that, right? There's no better example of that than releasing your leading tackler. Dodson, 26, starting all 9 games for Seattle, having signed a 1-year, $4.26 million deal in March after spending his first 5 seasons in Buffalo, which also includes a 2.25. In 9 games with the Seahawks, Dodson recorded a team-high 71 tackles to go along with 2 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, a pair passes defense. He is now subject to waivers. Now, don't get me wrong. Your man Dodson, I think, is pretty good, right? Pretty good. I think he, in the right scheme, right, could be good. You know what I mean? I don't think he was god-awful with the Seattle Seahawks. I don't think Jerome Baker was god-awful as well. He did some things there. Maybe they're just, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of growing pains getting integrated in a new scheme with some new personnel there. So, I don't know, take that for what it's worth. But listen, what is this set wave for, right? I had a video that I did a couple of weeks ago, right, or maybe like a few weeks ago on my man Tyrice Knight, who I said was the quintessential weak side type player, a running chase backer with some speed, a guy with some fluid hips, very much in the mode of a Jerome Baker. Jerome Baker's a hell of an athlete, way better athlete than Tyrel Dodson and Ernest Jones. That's his thing right there, is being an athlete. The guy can cover pretty good for linebackers, right? I don't think too many linebackers can cover, period, to be honest with you. So it's a low bar there, but I think Jerome Baker can do that. I actually think Tyrice Knight may have that in his game as well. But next to a guy like Ernest Jones, I want to see that. I said it before, so I'm going to replace that film study on the back end of this reaction right here so you can see some of the stuff that Tyrice Knight was doing. Also, Drake Thomas, right? Is there as well. I wouldn't mind seeing what he has as well out there. If they want to get those guys rotated in, why not, right? I'm not trying to say the Seattle Seahawks aren't good enough to make the playoffs or that this is a throwaway year, but this is a transition year. A lot of the Seahawks fans, every year they have outlandish expectations, and this is the year to not have those outlandish expectations and standards when your team is in a transition mode. Right? You're transitioning to an entirely different regime that runs a different scheme than you were running before. Allow those guys to get their type of players, right? And that goes for offense and defense. So, those are my 2 cents right there. I think Seattle will be all right as an organization. I very much look at it like Dan Quinn and the Atlanta Falcons, a team that I covered. And I remember those growing pains that they had in year 1. And then by year 2, they were in the Super Bowl. So let that sink in right there. And they had Kyle Shanahan, right, our offensive wizard, who had a pretty tough year his first year in Atlanta. Then the next year, him and Matt Ryan gel. Matt Ryan ends up the NFL MVP as a veteran quarterback there. So I don't know. But, hey, people aren't going to listen to me. All they're going to do is come and be weird and emote to me like I had somebody do earlier, right? Don't be coming to me emoting, right? I'm just a YouTube guy, right? Let's boil this down. I do YouTube videos. I am not your savior. So don't emote to me. Just treat me as just a YouTube guy, all right? With that being said, much love to y'all. Check out this Tyrice Knight video. Let me know what you think. Tyrice Knight, Ernest Jones together. That could be pretty special. All right, never know big salute. Number will be called. My man Jerome Baker having trouble staying healthy. Tyrice Knight has filled in quite admirably. Now check this out right here. You get flip 90 right there. Look, string it out, inside shoulder force, bang, strike. Keep going right here, other side. Look at that, string it out. That's what you do. Move laterally, and that's a tough cover right there, right? That's a tough sideline to sideline deal right there, going against your boy Devon A-Chain. Now, we'll go back right here. Now, you see that? The motion, of course, going to have you shift your gap responsibilities. Derek Carr right here doing his thing, right, on the edge, and then you want to replace that. String it along. You see how he's moving laterally here? It's exactly what you want to do. Lateral steps. You want to be able to split the difference. Now, some people, some people will teach it to where, hey, you want to try to get wide of the widest, try to force this guy to have to then cut back against the grain where there's going to be more bodies there. I was always taught to split the difference. Why? If the offensive guy is going this way, as a linebacker, you want to attack that inside shoulder. You attack that inside shoulder and get him to string it along there. As long as you have good distance, right? If you're a good judge of distance, your proprioception is good there. He's still going to be pretty much screwed, right? Because he's not going to be able to get around you, and you'll be in great position for the tackle. As we see right here, great tackle. Look at him bringing his pads, right? A lot of people don't bring their pads. They just want to hit and look cool. He likes to hit and wrap up right there. Devon A-Chain with nowhere to go. Excellent. See it from this perspective right here, from A-Chain's perspective. See him right there. He comes and flashes immediately. So he already has a step on him. And mentally, right, he's putting that mental pressure on him by continuing those lateral steps there. And you can see A-Chain trying to gear it down and gear it back up there because he definitely has a speed advantage over anybody who's trying to tackle him. But sometimes technique just beats speed, man. That's just it right there. Inside shoulder force, he gets there, and then the cavalry's there helping him as well. He's a rookie, ladies and gentlemen. A good linebacker will mimic the run motion of what he's defending. Now, you're going to have a split zone here. You know about the cross formation block. Ramondre Stevenson right here wants to press this horizontally to be able to find that organic cutback crease. You will see your boy Tyrice Knight looks like he's doing exactly what Ramondre Stevenson is doing and meeting him at the point of contention. Check it out. Look at that. Look at that. Mirror came out the backside right there. No Diddy. You can see him right here. Matter of fact, let's go back to that version right quick. You see him right here, almost like peekaboo, right? You see him with the lateral motion, right? Some of these guys are just turn perpendicular and just start running, right? He's laterally moving there to be able to give himself enough presence in each gap, but to be able to center up a lineman that may blocking him, or that may be blocking him, strike, and then be able to disengage. But you can see Ramondre Stevenson, if my man overran this right here, Ramondre Stevenson's 88 and out the gate. And I love me some Ramondre Stevenson. That dude can run, and he's powerful as fuck. But right here, no bueno. Inside shoulder force again. Look who's on him right. On him like white on rice. You go right here. Look at that. Approach. Start your horizontal motion, ladies and gentlemen, right? Boys and girls, children of all ages. And then look at that. See, you saw that? Able to disengage from right there and then be able to meet him right at the line of scrimmage. Wrap up. Fertilize. Kimlon. Can you walk and chew gum at the same time? They'll give you something to think about just to test you, right? They'll give you a little cheese. So if you're going to be floating shallow zone like Tyrice Knight is doing right here, and they have someone who's going to potentially be coming in your direction, they're going to test that eye discipline, especially if you have this right here, which ends up being a shovel pass. He very well could have floated himself way back here and up out of this play. However, good football intelligence and great eyes. Look at this. Looks over there and still stays on his keys, and bang, he's in there with Jaron Reed, right? Listen, somebody tried to front on Jaron Reed and acting like he ain't that dude. You know what I mean? One of those over-eager rookie slurpers. As great as Byron Murphy is and will be, Jaron Reed is still that dude. There's no reason for Byron Murphy to completely sit your boy Jaron Reed down. And it doesn't even really matter who starts, you know what I'm saying, in the defensive line. Listen, I digress. We'll get on. I'll talk about that on the podcast, right? Make sure you check that out. But here we go again, Tyrice Knight. You'll see him, right? If you didn't see it the first time, he's going to glance over at the tight end. You see him right now? He's glancing there. Suppose he really, really took that cheese, took himself out of the play. Ramondre Stevenson catching something like this, man, it would have been curtains, right? But great job by Leo Williams disengaging as well. And then Jaron Reed filling in. And then you get Tyrice Knight finishing it off. Great help defense. That's what's going to take your defense to the next level. Everybody on the keys, everybody pitching in. Once again, initially on the shallow zone duty, they'll float the tight end out there in his vicinity, but then sneak the fullback into the flat. So he has to be able to think about multiple things in his second game, or in his first action, I believe, too, right? But look at that right there. Inside shoulder force. Can do it, right? Look at him right there. Peel back, come strike, wrap up. Right? When you hit, come on, guys, you already know this, right? When you hit, you must wrap up. If you get what I'm saying there. But inside shoulder force here, break down in space. Look at that. Absolutely perfect how you would draw it up. He's going nowhere after that. Nowhere fast. Tyrice Knight, your rookie linebacker, 3 games into his career. I believe 2 games with game action, man. He'll only get better. But hopefully your boy Jerome Baker works his way back in. But Tyrice Knight getting all that playing time in preseason and getting this time with Jerome Baker's injury, I believe, was priceless. So we shall see how it goes. All right. Once again, thank you to all my top billing villains out there. With that being said, salute.
What more can I say?
Top billing.